Peanuts are everywhere. They're in your pantry, your snack bowl, your breakfast bar, and probably your childhood memories. For many people, peanuts are considered a healthy, protein-rich food. Doctors used to recommend them as a heart-friendly snack, and they're inexpensive, which makes them even more appealing. But if you're over 60, it's time to look a little closer at this popular nut, because what you don't know about it could be slowly harming your liver, and you wouldn't even realize it. Despite what the label says, peanuts aren't true nuts. They're legumes, more closely related to beans and lentils than almonds or walnuts. And unlike tree nuts, peanuts are far more susceptible to mold contamination. That's where the hidden danger lies. In warm, humid conditions, like those found in peanut farms, storage warehouses, or even your kitchen during summer, a mold called Aspergillus flavus can begin to grow. This mold produces a toxic substance called aflatoxin. And aflatoxin doesn't just sit on the shell. It penetrates deep into the peanut, and here's the worst part. You can't see it, smell it, or taste it. Once aflatoxin enters your body, it travels straight to your liver, where it's processed like other toxins. But unlike mild irritants or preservatives, aflatoxin is far more serious. It's been classified by the World Health Organization as a Group 1 carcinogen, the same category as tobacco smoke and asbestos. Over time, aflatoxin can cause DNA damage in liver cells, increase inflammation, and even contribute to liver cancer. And while most food safety regulations set limits on how much aflatoxin is allowed in food, the truth is, even acceptable levels may be too much when consumed frequently, especially for aging bodies. After age 60, your liver isn't the powerhouse it once was. It works slower, it recovers slower. It becomes more sensitive to environmental stressors, like alcohol, medications, processed foods, and yes, aflatoxins. Seniors who eat peanuts regularly, whether as roasted snacks or in peanut butter, may unknowingly be overloading their liver with toxins it can no longer clear effectively. And this overload doesn't just lead to liver strain. It can affect how your body processes medications, how you metabolize fats, and even how your brain functions. The problem isn't one handful of peanuts. It's the slow, daily accumulation. The peanut butter on toast, the trail mix before a walk, the peanut-laced cookies with afternoon tea. Over the years, this constant exposure adds up. And while you may not feel it immediately, the effects can surface as fatigue, sluggish digestion, mild nausea, memory fog, or unexplained lab results showing elevated liver enzymes. Most seniors never make the connection between peanuts and liver health, and that's exactly why this issue persists. When people think of liver toxins, they rarely think about the brain. But the connection between your liver and your cognitive health is more intimate than most realize, especially after 60. And here's where aflatoxins, the invisible compounds often found in peanuts, become even more concerning. You see, the liver is your body's detox center. It filters out chemicals, processes medications, and breaks down waste. But when it's under stress, from age, medications, or toxins like aflatoxins, it can't do its job as effectively. That leaves more harmful substances circulating in your bloodstream. And one of the most vulnerable organs to these circulating toxins is your brain. Emerging research suggests that aflatoxins don't just damage liver cells. They can also contribute to oxidative stress, inflammation, and even neurotoxicity, processes that have all been linked to memory problems, mood disturbances, and cognitive decline. This is particularly important for seniors, many of whom are already at higher risk for conditions like mild cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's disease, or vascular dementia. When aflatoxins overwhelm your liver, they may indirectly compromise brain function, leading to symptoms that are easy to dismiss as just getting older. You might feel it as brain fog, trouble concentrating, slower recall, or a vague sense that you're not as sharp as you used to be. These subtle changes often begin years before any formal diagnosis, and rarely does anyone think to blame what's in their snack bowl. What makes it even trickier is that these effects are cumulative. A few peanuts here and there may not have noticeable consequences, but over time, especially if you're eating them daily or consuming products like peanut butter or processed bars that use ground peanuts, the burden can grow. Combine that with other age-related factors: slower circulation, less efficient detox pathways, nutrient deficiencies, and your brain may begin to show signs of wear you didn't expect. Another lesser-known concern is the role of aflatoxins in gut-brain axis disruption. The gut and brain communicate through nerves, hormones, and immune signals. But when aflatoxins damage the gut lining or disrupt your microbiome, as some animal studies suggest, this delicate communication can break down. The result? Increased inflammation throughout the body, including the brain. It's a domino effect that starts with your food, passes through your liver, disturbs your gut, and ends up affecting how you think and feel. Now let's be clear, peanuts aren't evil. But for older adults, they may not be as harmless as they once seemed. The risk lies not in a single exposure, but in frequent long-term intake without awareness of aflatoxin contamination. And here's something else worth noting. Aflatoxins are resistant to heat. Roasting peanuts doesn't destroy them. Neither does boiling or baking. So, unless you're specifically buying from producers who test for and limit aflatoxin levels, you may be unknowingly exposing yourself every day. As we age, our immune system naturally becomes less efficient. It's slower to respond to new threats, more prone to chronic inflammation, and less able to recover from stress or illness. That's why seniors are more vulnerable to infections, take longer to heal from injuries, and often experience more severe outcomes from what would have been minor illnesses in youth. But what many don't realize is how our everyday food choices, especially something as seemingly simple as peanuts, can quietly weaken immune defenses even further. And one of the biggest culprits in this story is, once again, aflatoxin. Aflatoxins have been shown in numerous studies to suppress immune function. They do this by interfering with white blood cell activity, reducing the production of protective antibodies, and altering how immune cells communicate. That means your body becomes less equipped to detect and neutralize viruses, bacteria, or even abnormal cells. For someone overseas whose immune system is already under more pressure, this can tip the balance in the wrong direction. You may find yourself catching more colds, taking longer to recover from minor infections, or feeling chronically fatigued even without a clear illness. And in many cases, this low-grade immune suppression goes unnoticed because it's subtle, slow, and persistent. Another major concern is that aflatoxins increase chronic inflammation, particularly in the gut and liver. This kind of long-term, low-level inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging, is now recognized as one of the key drivers of aging-related disease. It affects your joints, your heart, your brain, and yes, your muscles. Inflammation also worsens insulin resistance, which is already a concern for older adults, especially those with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. The more inflammation you carry, the harder it becomes for your body to regulate blood sugar, maintain energy, and preserve healthy muscle mass. And the more aflatoxins in your diet, the more inflammation you may unknowingly be fueling. What's more troubling is how aflatoxins affect the intestinal barrier, that thin, protective lining in your gut that controls what enters your bloodstream. Animal studies show that aflatoxins can damage this barrier, making it more leaky. In humans, this could mean that toxins, bacteria, or food particles slip into the bloodstream more easily, triggering immune confusion and inflammation in places they don't belong. For someone over 60, this adds yet another layer of immune dysregulation, making the body work harder, feel more fatigued, and become more prone to autoimmune flares or allergic responses. It's a cascade of effects that starts with a contaminated nut. And unfortunately, you won't see any of this coming. You won't feel an immediate reaction like you would with food poisoning. Aflatoxin damage is slow, silent, and cumulative. It may take years before the consequences show up clearly, in the form of a weakened immune system, elevated liver enzymes, cognitive decline, or frequent infections. But the seeds of those problems may be planted today in your afternoon snack. The good news is, you don't have to give up snacking. You just need to become smarter about what you choose, especially if you're over 60 and trying to protect your liver, your brain, and your immune system. The goal isn't fear, it's awareness. Once you understand how aflatoxins work and where they hide, you can make simple changes that dramatically reduce your risk without sacrificing enjoyment or nutrition. Let's start with the most important step. Read the labels and go beyond them. Most peanut products don't mention aflatoxin risk. In fact, manufacturers are not legally required to include aflatoxin levels on their packaging, even though the FDA does set maximum allowable limits. The problem? Many cheaper brands of peanuts, especially those produced in bulk or imported from regions with poor crop storage practices, may still contain measurable levels of aflatoxins, and you won't know unless you dig deeper. That's why it's helpful to choose brands that specifically state they test for aflatoxins. Look for phrases like aflatoxin controlled or third-party tested for mold and toxins. These are more common in organic or premium health food brands, but they're increasingly available online or in well-stocked supermarkets. Yes, they may cost more, but when you consider the long-term health of your liver and immune system, that small price difference becomes an investment in your well-being, not just a snack. Next, consider alternative nuts that carry a much lower risk of aflatoxin contamination. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios, hazelnuts, and Brazil nuts are all tree nuts and are far less likely to carry aflatoxins. In fact, almonds have been shown to contain antioxidants that help support liver function, while walnuts provide omega-3s that fight inflammation and improve brain health. Pistachios are another excellent choice, offering potassium and B vitamins without the same mold concerns that peanuts face. By swapping your peanut butter for almond butter or your roasted peanuts for a handful of mixed tree nuts, you're giving your body safer, more supportive fuel. It's also wise to store your nuts properly. Even a high-quality nut can become contaminated if it's stored in warm, damp conditions. Always keep nuts in airtight containers, away from heat and light, and ideally in the refrigerator if you live in a humid climate. Don't ignore off smells or bitter taste. They may be signs of spoilage or mold exposure, even if you can't see it. Another tip: rotate your snacks. Even healthy nuts contain compounds called phytates and lectins, which can interfere with mineral absorption if eaten in large amounts every single day. By rotating between different types of nuts, seeds, and other whole food snacks, like boiled edamame, roasted chickpeas, or sliced veggies with hummus, you'll not only reduce your risk of overexposure to any one compound, but you'll also give your body a broader range of nutrients to support immune resilience and liver detox. Finally, remember that health is never about one food. It's about patterns. If you've been eating peanuts daily for years without issues, that doesn't mean your body hasn't been affected. But the beautiful thing about the human body, even after 60, is that it responds to better choices fairly quickly. By switching to safer snacks and being more selective about the brands you buy, you can lighten the toxic load on your liver, lower your inflammatory markers, and begin restoring strength to your immune system, all without giving up the satisfaction of a good snack. At this point, you might be wondering, do I really need to rethink something as basic as peanuts? The short answer is, not if they're occasional. But if peanuts, peanut butter, or peanut-containing snacks are part of your daily or weekly routine, and especially if you're over 60, it's wise to take a closer look. Because the risks, while silent, are real. And the good news is, protecting yourself doesn't require dramatic changes. Just awareness, consistency, and a few smarter choices. Let's begin with the first and most powerful habit. Diversify your diet. Aflatoxins, like many foodborne toxins, become harmful through cumulative exposure. The same snack, eaten every day for years, becomes a slow drip of strain on your liver and immune system. So start there. If you eat peanut butter daily, switch to almond butter a few days a week. If you snack on roasted peanuts after lunch, alternate with walnuts, cashews, or a mix of seeds like pumpkin or sunflower. Think rotation, not restriction. Giving your body a break from any single toxin source gives it space to heal, recover, and detox naturally. Second, support your liver with the nutrients it needs. The liver is remarkably resilient, even after decades of wear and tear, but it needs the right tools. Crucial liver-supporting nutrients include glutathione, vitamin E, selenium, milk thistle, and N-acetylcysteine, NAC. While some of these can be found in supplements, many are available in foods. Garlic, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts, Brazil nuts, turmeric, and leafy greens all contribute to liver health. If you've had abnormal liver enzyme tests, ask your doctor about adding these into your daily meals. Third, stay hydrated and support elimination pathways. Toxins don't just need to be broken down, they need to be excreted. That means proper hydration, regular bowel movements, and good kidney function. If you're not drinking enough water or fiber is lacking in your diet, your body may struggle to clear out what the liver has already processed. Simple additions like chia seeds, oats, berries, and warm herbal teas like dandelion root or ginger can go a long way toward supporting detox and lowering toxic burden. Next, be cautious of cheap or imported peanut products. Many imported peanut butters or snacks are not held to the same aflatoxin testing standards as domestic brands. Mass-produced peanuts from regions with poor crop storage conditions, such as parts of Africa or Asia, often show higher contamination rates. If you can, choose brands that are organic, US-grown, and transparently tested. A good brand will usually say so on the label. If they don't assume it's been done. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, tune into your body. If you're noticing signs like unexplained fatigue, dull digestion, brain fog, or frequent infections, and peanuts are a regular part of your diet, it might be worth cutting back and seeing how you feel. You don't need to be alarmist, but being proactive can prevent a lot of future discomfort. Many seniors report feeling more mentally clear, less bloated, or simply more energetic after reducing processed or mold-prone foods. It's not magic. It's biology doing what it's meant to do once the burden is lifted. So, to recap, here's your aflatoxin defense checklist. Rotate away from daily peanut consumption. Favor tree nuts over legumes, like peanuts. Choose brands that test for aflatoxins. Support your liver with detoxifying foods. Stay hydrated and promote regular elimination. Read ingredient labels carefully. And favor simplicity. Listen to your body. Subtle symptoms often come first. In your 60s and beyond, your body has a powerful ability to repair, but only if you stop adding stressors faster than it can remove them. And while a single peanut won't hurt you, a lifetime of silent accumulation just might. You don't need to fear food, but you do deserve to know what it's doing to you. Awareness is the first step toward empowerment, and with a few small shifts, your snacks can become a source of strength, not stress, for your liver, your brain, and your well-being.